So good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to see about forwarding techniques and forwarding process. So forwarding techniques are next hop method, route method, network specific method, host specific method, and default method. So we'll see one by one in detail. So forwarding means to place the packet in its route to its destination. Forwarding requires a host or router to have a routing table. So both host and the router should have the routing table. So when a host has a packet to send or when a router has received a packet to be forwarded, it looks at this table to find the route to the final destination. So in real time, we can say whenever we go in a highway, we used to stop at the toll gate. At the toll gate, our car number and everything is processed and then will be forwarded out. So this may be the example we can give. So the routing table in the host and routing table in the router will be having the details of the forwarding process. So now we shall see the forwarding techniques and forwarding process. So this is the first method, route method versus next hop method. So in the route method, how the forwarding table works and how the packets are getting forwarded. So now consider an example. There are 2 hosts and 3 networks. So these are connected by 2 routers. So we have host A, host B, and routers R1 and the R2. So routing tables based on route is A, and in the B we have routing tables based on next hop. So now we shall see the routing table for host A. So in host A, destination is host B, and the route it will take, that is the packet from host A, will be routed to host B through this route, that is R1, R2, and then host B. So this is the routing table based on route. So routing table based on next hop, that is what is the next hop? So from host A, destination is host B. Next hop will be router R1. So routing table for R1, for this router R1, destination is host B. The route it will take is from R2 to host B. So based on next hop, from router R1, destination is host B, next hop will be R2. So routing table for R2 will be based on route, destination is B, route is host B. So here routing table based on next hop for R2 is destination is host B, there is no next hop. Directly it will be going to the host B. Next is about host specific versus network specific method. Here we consider 2 networks. In network N1, we have 1 host called S. In network N2, we have 4 hosts, A, B, C, D. These 2 networks are connected through router R1. So routing table for host S based on host specific method, that is based on the host, that is destination host. So you see the table. So destination is A, next hop will be R1. Destination is B, next hop will be R1. Because here we have only 1 router. In real time, we can have n number of networks and n number of routers connected. Here to understand, we are showing a simple network with 1 router connected. So next hop will be R1 only for all the destination. For destination D, next hop. This is like host specific. That is what is the destination specific. Now, routing table for host S based on network specific method means to the next network. So from S, it is connected to network 1, N1. So when the destination is N2, next hop will be R1. So this is called network specific method. So the final one is default method. For example, here we have 2 networks, N1 and N2, which are connected through a router R1. And rest of the internet is connected through router R2, which is called the default router. So the default method, Routing table for host A will be, if the destination network is N2, next hop will be R2. If the destination is any other network in rest of the internet, next hop is through the default router R2. So this is default method. So the default method normally should be defined as the network address. We can have the appropriate network address here. So so far we discussed about different methods of forwarding. That is root method versus next hop method, host specific versus network specific method, and default method. Next we shall see about what is forwarding processes. So it is simplified forwarding module in a classless address. This is an example given for a classless address. So the forwarding module in a host or router will have the two modules. When a packet comes in a host, so we have to extract the destination address and it will go to the search table. Search table will have all these entries. That is what is the mask /n, network address, next hop address, and the interface. So from the search table, next hop address and interface number, it will go to the address resolution protocol, which we have discussed in the data link layer. So consider an example. Make a routing table for router R1 using the configuration in this figure. For example, we have router R1, which is having 4 interfaces, M0, M1, M2, and the M3. So for this network, for this example, how we can build the routing table. So this is the routing table for router R1 in the figure. So for /26 mask, the network is 180.70.65.192. So that is network address. So there is no next hop because the router is connected directly to the network. So there is no next hop. Interface is M2. Like this, we can form the routing table for all other entities also. For this network interface M3, the network is 201.4.22.3/24. So this is the entry for this network address. There is no next hop, so it is /. But if you see any, that is the rest of the internet, so we have the next hop. This router is there, 180.70.65.200. So with the mask 26, so interface is M2. So this is how the forwarding process takes place in a network. That is, it will consider the routing table. From the routing table only, it will find out the next hop and the ultimate destination. Thank you.